Hi, and welcome. Thank you for joining the Petersville Farm channel. In the previous video, I showed the growth of the seedlings 28 days later after they were sowed. Today, I am heading to the hoop house to transplant some of those seedlings. I'm transplanting kale, collards, radish, mustard greens, and Swiss chard. Before transplanting, ensure that the soil is moist. This makes it easier to remove the seedlings from the trays. Handle seedlings by their leaves to avoid damaging the tender stems. Now these stems are not too bad. Some are a little tender than others depending on the type of plant. For instance, you'll find that the collard or kale and the radish, they are a bit stronger than as compared to the mustard green and the Swiss chard. So make the hole, place the seedling and firm the soil around it. Now you want to water the transplant right away. Here, since the micro irrigation, drip irrigation is in place, I turn on the irrigation while planting. I have other areas with existing crops in the hoop house, so the drip has been going for a while, resulting in moist soil in this location also. Now there are controls where I could restrict water access to certain rows, but I didn't do that. I just have water access to all the areas because I was planning to do these later transplants. Keep the plants out of direct sunlight for a few days to let the transplant recover from the move. Now that is usually the case with higher temperatures. However, we still experience lower temperatures. The days of light exposure also still shorter. And so there's no need for me to cover these plants, but it's good to note as it warms up that protection from shock is essential. Also transplant the roots without disturbing them. Do so if you can. This may be tricky since in some cases there are a bunch of seedlings in one cell that require separating. So is try your best to separate them without disturbing as much as possible and without damaging the stems, because oftentimes this is one instance that will result in stem damages. So everything is going well here. I'm super excited about these new additions to the greenhouse. We are at the start of 2023, so more frost is expected, but there are provisions in place to protect the seedlings from deep freezes. The irrigation is connected to a frost-free or frost-proof hydrant. So in the event of freezing, I turn the hydrant off and the water in the pipe drains out, thus protecting the pipe from possible damages. I intend to mulch around the transplants. Also, other strategies are shown in a separate video on tips for protecting plants during low temperatures, and that video will show that it worked. We had freeze those super low temperatures below 24, and those strategies worked well. Remember to add some sort of plant label. Some plants are easier to identify than others. I can distinguish oftentimes between kale and collards, or I can distinguish between the radish but it may be more difficult. Let's say you have the beet or Swiss chard, they look pretty much alike. They're related. The only difference is the Swiss chard will not produce a bulb. All right, so it's important to mark them. Or in other cases where you have multiple varieties of the same, or I have multiple varieties of crops such as lettuce, or multiple varieties of kale, or even collards. I've grown 2 different varieties of collards in the past. I am through with the transplanting for today. I am excited to sit back and monitor their progress. I have my bench ready down here. I have a little room left for some more transplants, so most likely I will be transplanting some lettuce. There's some areas with some landscape fabrics, so I'll just cut through those fabrics and plant the lettuce there. Here are the plants 20 days later. Since the last transplant, I went ahead and transplanted the lettuce plants. The first set of mustard greens are looking good. I'll continue to monitor them. They should be harvested before the temperature warms up. The mustard greens bolt in warmer temperatures. I do leave a couple of the plants to produce seeds that are utilized for the next growing season. Remaining to be planted are beets, carrots, and spinach. I will be transplanting them outdoors shortly. Stay tuned for more exciting videos. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Happy gardening.